jitete koriya ya Arna kori ho mane asha Arna kori ho mane asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati De prasadi pure sarvasha De prasadi pure sarvasha Akuran diloje Janme janme Prabhu se Jakudana diloje Janme janme Prabhu se Devya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashito Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasa Jate Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasa Jate Hoite Vedigai Jahara Chariro Vedigai Jahara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamajanara Bandhu 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 Lokena Lokera Jivana Srila Prabhupada Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu Gaurodoya Deo More Bharachaya Ha Prabhu Gaurodoya Deo More Bharachaya Ha Prabhu Gaurodoya Deo More Bharachaya Koro. Ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deho Mori Parachaya. Lotus feet. Ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deho Mori Parachaya. Hey Vedas Gusuji Bhuvana. Jira Prabhupada Patita Bhavana. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shubhopad ki Namao Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarine. Super ancient. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Nityananda Gaura Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Nitai. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Chaitanya Jaya Nitai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Jaya Radhe Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Jaya Radhe. Gaur Premanande. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parirajikacharya Astottara Shatta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parirajikacharya Astottara Shatta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. Shri Mayapura Dhama Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Maharani of Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srimati Radharani. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo.
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana 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 Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Gaur Premanandi Jam Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Stottara Satta Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Iskcon founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Gaur Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today is the very wonderful day of Deepavali. Deepavali is often called as Diwali, the northern part of India actually. The southern part of India, they call it Deepavali. It's the same. It's actually the day. Who knows what's this day about? How is it significant here? We are doing this Kartik Vrat. We are offering lambs every day to this beautiful pastime of Mother Yashoda tying up Krishna. So that's the day, today is the day when actually Mother Yashoda tied Krishna up on the day of Deepavali. So it's very significant. It's not some Hindu festival, so it's very significant. And also when Lord Ramachandra returns to Ayodhya, the residents of Ayodhya receive him with great jubilation, lighting up the streets. So we'll read from the Srimad Bhagavatam. You want to put this verse up? 10, Srimad Bhagavatam 10, Canto 10, Chapter 9, verse 1, 2. So it's also very significant in a way where we light up lamps. The purpose, the significance is it's not just for like a beautiful sight where we light up lamps at night so it looks very pretty and nice. The real significance is Tamosova Jyotirgama, leave the darkness and come to the light. Okay, can we go down? I'll just read the verse without any repetition, I guess. Shri Shuka uvacha ekada griha dashishu yashodananda gehini karmantara niyuktashu nirmamanta swayam dhadi yani yani hagitani tatbala charitani cha dadi nirmantane kale smaranti tani agayata. So we'll go to the translation. Shri Shukadev Goswami continued, one day when Mother Yashoda saw that all the maid servants were engaged in other household affairs, she personally began to churn the yogurt. While churning, she remembered the childish activities of Krishna, and in her own way, she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about all those activities. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, quoting from the Vaishnava Toshani of Srila Sanatana Goswami, says that the incident of Krishna breaking the pot of yogurt and being bound by Mother Yashoda took place on the Deepavali day, or Deepamalika. Even today in India, this festival is generally celebrated very gorgeously in the month of Kartik by fireworks and lights, especially in Bombay. It is to be understood that among all the cows of Nanda Maharaj, several of Mother Yashoda's cows only ate grasses so flavorful that the grasses would automatically flavor the milk. Mother Yashoda wanted to collect the milk from these cows, only make it into yogurt and churn it into butter personally, since she thought that this child Krishna was going to be to the houses of neighborhood gopas and gopis to steal the butter because he did not like the milk and yogurt ordinarily prepared. While churning the butter, Mother Yashoda was singing about the childhood activities of Krishna. It was formerly a custom that if one wanted to remember something constantly, he would transform it into poetry or have this done by a professional poet. It appears that Mother Yashoda did not want to forget Krishna's activities at any time. Therefore, she poeticized all of Krishna's childhood activities, such as the killing of Putana, Agasura, Shakatasura, Trinavrita. And while churning the butter, she sang about these activities in poetical form. This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. This incident shows how Krishna conscious Mother Yashoda was. To stay in Krishna consciousness, we would follow such persons. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Samam Bonam, Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. So today was the day, according to Tithi, according to the lunar calendar, where Mother Yashoda actually bound Krishna to the grinding mortar. And today is the new moon day, Amavasya, if you look at your Vaishnava calendar. And it's also significant, it's Amavasya, that there's no moon, so it's very dark. And Lord Ramachandra returned also, and the residents of Ayodhya, they lit up the streets and their homes and beautifully to receive Sitaram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. So there's quite a few points here. It is said that, in fact, in most places in India, it is said that this gorgeously in the month of Kartik, everywhere in India you'll find. It's not very prominent in Bengal. They don't celebrate Diwali as much as the other parts of India. You'll find in South India it's quite very gorgeously, of course in Bombay, very beautifully observed, where people go to each other's homes and have nice food preparations and give gifts, exchange gifts like that. So and also a lot of fireworks. I remember as a child during this time we look forward for this day specifically for the fireworks. And some of these fireworks are really pretty intense, so but now in some parts of the world fireworks is banned. But of course in the US you can, I think, still play fireworks outside city limits, and you'll find that this is very gorgeously celebrated. So Mother Yashoda, she tied up Krishna on this day. It's a very beautiful occasion. Krishna, which is not conquerable by anybody, was actually bound by his mother. Of course, after great difficulty, she was able to bind Krishna, but she was able to run after Krishna and catch him. And Krishna, who cannot be caught by anyone, was caught by seemingly a cowherd woman, who's not very highly educated, who's not well versed in the scriptural injunctions, who's simply concerned about, churning butter and, taking care of her child as a life and soul. So this may look a little puzzling, how when the sages are trying to meditate on Krishna and are impossible to capture him, now here is a cowherd woman who's able to tie the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, I mean, it's just like Swayam Bhagavan. She was able to tie him up. Something very extraordinary. We go, we come in, see Radha Nila Madhava, we offer our prayers, sometime, very routinely, sometimes just out of obligation, with no feeling in our heart, and hope that one day Krishna will listen to us. But here we'll find that this cowherd woman, we were just thinking, hope one day Krishna will listen to us. But here's a devotee who's actually caught hold of the Lord, who's in a very, very frightful condition because he has committed the mischief of breaking the pot of butter. And the mother said, look, I will teach you a lesson today. You're going everywhere stealing butter and creating such mischief. Today I'll teach you a lesson. So, and this child, Supreme Lord, is so fearful. Now, how this thing is to many faiths and religions, this idea of God being fearful is a very incompatible fact. How can God be fearful, right? I mean, death personified is fearful of God. But here, God is fearful. Now, something very extraordinary is happening here. How can God be fearful? A natural question, right? If you go and tell somebody who's a Christian, a devout Christian, or a Muslim, or anybody who's practicing their faith very sincerely, you say, you know what, our God becomes fearful. I mean, in fact, one of the big tenets of Christianity is to fear God. So one has to fear God. Okay, but of course our philosophy says one has to surrender to God, one has to love God. And fear is also a very incompatible thing with love. But here, Krishna is fearful just like an ordinary child when they have committed an offense. I'm sure all of you have been in this situation where you committed something very mischievous, an offense. You did something you were not supposed to, so you become very fearful of your parents for that time. My mother is going to chastise me, or my father is going to chastise me. So this is something which at least I grew up with. I don't know if you all, nowadays the child can call the Child Protection Service. In our days, the Child Protection Service was the mom and dad and the elder brothers and elder sisters, right? I mean, it's very normal nowadays when the mother or father spanks the child knows exactly what to do. Takes up their own cell phone and call 911. Or they may even have a special number for them saved in their contacts, Child Protection Service. So, so it's a very, in fact, some of the states in the US have voted legally to bring back punishment for the children in their schools. When I was growing up, there was something called public caning. If some kid in school did something very horrible, during our assembly time when we say the Pledge of Allegiance and in Singapore, and after that, whatever child has created something crazy, something stole from the school or beat up some other kid so badly or did some offense against a teacher, a serious offense, they were caned publicly in front of the entire school. And guess what? After that, that kid never did that thing again. So, punishment has its place. I'm not saying that you have to cane your kids or you got to beat up your kids, but punishment has its place. Therefore, Krishna sometimes comes down with some heavy thunderbolt type of mercy on some devotee. Okay, there's a saying that softer than a rose and heavier than a thunderbolt. So mercy can come in so many ways, but it can also come in the form of a thunderbolt. Sometimes a thunderbolt is much more effective than the soft petals of a rose. In fact, often it's more effective. So therefore, sometimes Prabhupada was very heavy with his disciples. And it kind of woke them up from this slumber his disciples were in, or my spiritual master is known to be very heavy like a thunderbolt. And actually, you know what? It was very effective. So we don't like to receive mercy in a very thunderbolt type of fashion, but ultimately it's delivered for our own good. So here, Mother Yashoda, of course, she was taking a stick and chasing Krishna. And then she dropped the stick because the child was so afraid. This child, Krishna, became so fearful. And she, oh, my child is so fearful. Of course, she's bound by such unconditional love for this. When she saw the child become overly fearful, she dropped the stick. Of course, she was not going to hit Krishna. Inconceivable, somebody causing harm to Krishna. So she dropped the stick, and then she started the attempt of trying to bind Krishna. Of course, all of us know this wonderful exchange going on now. Krishna, you know what? Krishna could have, while she was holding Krishna could have ran away. But Krishna was also actually enjoying this. Now, Krishna was not pretending to be fearful. Krishna was not pretending to be crying. You know, Krishna was said to be rubbing his eyes. Various explanations is given. You know how Krishna was rubbing his eyes to generate more tears, so his mother will become very, very forgiving of him. Children do that. Sometimes they create fake tears so that the parents will say, okay, you go and do what you want. All right, so Krishna was doing the same. He was trying to generate more tears so it can bring out the parental love and forgive the child. But no, Mother Yashoda was very determined. You know, you've been so naughty, you've been going around stealing butter everywhere. This is not only one thing I'm punishing you for. You've been going around stealing butter, and I get all kind of complaints from all my lady friends that you're going into their house, breaking their pot and creating a big ruckus with your friends and the monkeys. You know, how could it be? It's not very good for our reputation. You're doing this. She's talking like an ordinary woman, right? But Prabhupada says that Mother Yashoda is also part of Krishna's Hiladani Shakti. We have typically understand that Radharani is the Hiladani Shakti, personification, the embodiment. But anything which gives Krishna pleasure is part of the Hiladani Shakti. Right? So, Mother Yashoda now makes an attempt. She gets rope and tries Krishna. It falls short. She gets more rope. It is said that all actually lady friends were witnessing this. Then she goes through great labor and she starts perspiring. All the flowers in her hair are falling, so now she tries and just, what is this? And gets to the rope. The rope was two finger length short, finger width short. And then she gets a long rope, ties up to the existing rope, and still it comes up 2 fingers short. Then she said, this is very unlikely. What's happening? She gets more rope. And it happens again. So when Krishna sees that the mother is laboring so hard, then his mercy, potency becomes bestowed on Mother Yashoda. And then finally, she ties Krishna up. In fact, I was listening to a class. It is said that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has opined that Radharani gave the string in a hair braid to Mother Yashoda. And with that, Mother Yashoda tied up Krishna. So Radharani is involved in every pastime. So we're trying to run after Krishna because we do a lot of our devotional practices, our sadhana bhakti, our regulative principles. But this actually cannot capture Krishna. It prepares us to catch Krishna, but it cannot catch Krishna. So if we are just very routinely chanting our rounds and following the principles of sadhana bhakti, vaidhi bhakti, rules and regulations, we shouldn't stop there. We should go past those to develop the kind of sentiments Mother Yashoda has for Krishna, the gopis have for Krishna, the cowherd boys have for Krishna, the servants have for Krishna. So we need to develop such pure, unadulterated, pure, unalloyed. Okay? So Prabhupada Prabhupada used this word unalloyed. In fact, in the early days in his book, Prabhupada always used the word, in his early writings, you see, Prabhupada used the word unalloyed, unalloyed, unalloyed a lot. Because the word alloy comes when you mix steel with other chemicals. Could be tungsten, could be manganese, could be magnesium, cadmium. You know, you do carbon and you create various grades of steel with various different type of properties. The whole science of one aspect, how to create steel which is tougher, how to create steel which can take a high temperature. So you add different things in there, how to create something which is harder than the others. So to get iron which is completely pure, not even talking about, all right? So it's very, very difficult to speak of gold. So even if you go to buy in America, most of gold is like 12 karat, 14 karat, sometimes 18 karat. And the jewelry people normally wear in other parts of the world are not, like in India, in Southeast Asia, or in the Middle East, is at least 22 karat. It's at least 22 karat. And it's very soft. Like this ring which I'm wearing is 22 karat. It's very soft. You can actually apply enough pressure to kind of deform it. But 24 karat is even the purest form of gold. But even in there, there's some kind of, if you really look, chemically analyze it, you'll find some kind of contaminants in there, which is not gold. So when Prabhupada talks about unalloyed devotion, that means we come to a point, Jai Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhava Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Giridhari Shri Giriraj Govindane, Shri Shri Nitai Chaitanya Chandra, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Chandra, Shri Shri Yashoda Ramarup Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev. So we find that such purity is impossible in this world. So, but Krishna is only interested in such kind of pure love where you don't have any contaminants in there. You don't have your personal agenda in there. Your business is only for the pleasure of Krishna. You do whatever, all right, I have to sweep the temple, this gives pleasure to Krishna. I am the temple president, but today I have to sweep, I have to wash the toilet, I have to clean the toilet, I have to, maybe unplug, clog the toilet. This gives pleasure to Krishna. That's my happiness. So no, I don't want any recognition. Lord Chaitanya gives us a very valuable lesson, right? We took away all our Shikshastakams, huh? Okay? So Lord Chaitanya prays, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani ishvare, bhavatad bhakti ahaituki tvai. So ahaituki is not driven by any kind of selfish motive. So when you have such kind of love for Krishna, then Krishna becomes attracted to you. Of course, Krishna attracts everybody, but Krishna will only become attracted to those type of devotees who have such unadulterated, unalloyed love in their heart for him. This is a very important thing. And Prabhupada set up Iskcon for that purpose. One of the purposes is to set the standard of what is that kind of love. Right? You can go to a temple, you can come and attend the arati, put some donation, take some prasadam and go back home. This doesn't attract Krishna. You can come and sponsor a Sunday feast. You can chant some beautiful prayers. This doesn't attract Krishna. But even if there's somebody who can't even talk, they come in front of Krishna and with their heart just offer genuine, sincere, pure, unselfish prayers. Or somebody is invalid, who can't even move his hand and his leg, can't even do any service for Krishna. But if his heart is in such a state, Krishna will notice that person. So bhakti is a function of a heart. Of course, what's in the heart also comes outside. All right? But what is on the outside doesn't necessarily reflect what's in the heart. Somebody could be doing so many things externally, but his heart may not have much love for Krishna. It's like practicing, right? Like the mother makes a pizza and the child, a little baby, 2 years old, wants to also make pizza. So the mother gives the child some dough and gives a rolling stick, so the child practices. The child is not really making a pizza, but the child practices, shapes the dough, starts putting stuff in there. So like that, we are in the practicing stage and kind of imitating what is real bhakti. But not imitating frivolously, imitating genuinely. So we are in such a stage. In such a stage, we can't really attract Krishna. So therefore, it's even said that when you dress Radha and Krishna in the very initial stages, in a practicing stage, you are actually rendering service to Lakshmi and Narayan. Because directly serving Radha and Krishna is a very, very exalted state. It's not something which can be, oh, just because I'm on the altar, you know what? I'm dressing the divine couple. Everything is hunky-dory. I've attained the purpose of my life. It's not. Okay, we have to be mindful of that. Just like Narottam Das Thakur says, Radha Krishna Pranamora Jugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Arnahi Mor Radha Krishna Pranamora Jugala Kishore. So Narottam Das Thakur says, Radha and Krishna are the life of my life, Pranamor. Are my living breath. Okay, something which is most dear to us is our breath is actually the most dear. In many ways you look, because if your breath leaves you, what is there? Whether in life, living condition or a dead condition, jivane marane gati, arnahi more. I don't want any, there's no other aspiration for me. So, such a state, if you are in such a state, then you can serve Radha and Krishna. In fact, Narottam Das Thakur ends the prayer saying, it's not like I am the direct servant of Radha and Krishna. He says, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasher Anudas. I am the servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is the desire of Narottam Das. Sheba Vilash Kore Narottam Das. So like this, such state of bhakti, we can aspire to somehow be part of Radha and Krishna's pastime. So this month of Kartik is very special. It's supposed to absorb us in the mood of Braj Bhakti. So therefore we make an attempt in our lives in this month to focus our mind in these wonderful pastimes and offer lamps and take some vows. So here I'm also going to read how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu observed the Deepavali festival. E matarasa yatra ara Deepavali uttana dwadasi yatra dekila sakhali. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees participated in all the festivals known as Rasha Yatra, Deepavali and Uttana Dwadasi. The Deepavali festival takes place on the dark moon night in the month of Kartik, October-November, The Rasa Yatra or Rasa Dancing of Krishna takes place on the full moon night of the same month. So Uttana Dwadasi takes place the day after Ekadasi in the waxing fortnight of the moon in the same month. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu participated in these festivals. So these festivals we have to observe them. Why are these festivals there? If you look at the Gaudiya calendar, there's so many festivals. Of course, sometimes it becomes a little overwhelming if you want to observe them in full pomp. But at least we have to observe Ekadasi. We have to observe such festivals like Govardhan Puja, Diwali, of course Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Gaura Purnima, Nityananda Trayodasi, Prabhupada's appearance, Prabhupada's disappearance. Because such days are filled with mercy. When the Lord appears on that day, He is specifically very merciful, more merciful than His usual self. Radharani, Radhashtami, we hanker to see Radharani's lotus feet, or we don't get to see that opportunity. We see that Radharani's lotus feet is there, which we don't get to see. So we have to somehow make some effort. Somehow we have to make some effort in our lives in these days to read more about the activities which happened that day, what is the significance of that day. And that way, looks like the mic is in a state of ecstasy, or maybe Shamasundar Prabhu wouldn't like that this mic stand is not performing up to. He had a lot of strict regulations how to operate this. So Mahaprabhu appeared. Prabhupada also talks about here the roads, streets and lanes of Hastinapur were all sprinkled with fragrant water through the trunks of intoxicated elephants. In different places of the city, there were colorful festoons and flags decorating the houses and streets. At important road crossings, there were gates with golden decorations, and at the two sides of the gates, there were golden water jugs. These beautiful decorations glorified the opulence of the city. Participating in this great ceremony, all the citizens of the city gathered here and there dressed in colorful new clothing decorated with ornaments, flower garlands and fragrant scents. Each and every house was illuminated by hundreds and thousands of lamps placed in different corners of the cornices, walls, columns, bases and architraves. And from far away the rays of the lamps resembled the festival of Deepavali, a particular festival observed on the New Year's Day of the Hindu calendar. Within the walls of the houses, fragrant incense was burning and smoke rose through the windows, making the entire atmosphere very pleasing. On the top of every house, flags were flapping, and the gold water pots kept on the roofs shone very brilliantly. This is the Krishna group. Prabhupada also says a letter to Pradyumna Prabhu. Ramachandra's victory celebration is observed in the last day of Durga Puja. Vaishnavas are not concerned with Durga Puja. Deepavali or Diwali is observed as New Year's Day by certain mercantile community. The Vaishnavas have nothing to do with the ceremony, but just on the last day of Diwali, the Vaishnava observe Annakut ceremony. This celebration, the day when Lord Krishna lifted the hill and Madhavendra Puri established the temple in Gopal. So sometime this Diwali is the last day of Durga Puja. In fact, today is Kali Puja. In Bengal, you see, is observed Kali Puja. Okay? So we have nothing to do with such festivals. But because Mother Yashoda tied Krishna up on this day, is a glorious day for us. Lord Ramachandra returned. Here Prabhupada also says, letter to Hansadutta Prabhu, Diwali ceremony can be observed in the temple by illuminating hundreds of candles in different parts of the temple and offering a special prasad to the deity. This ceremony was observed by the inhabitants of Ayodhya, the kingdom of Lord Ramachandra, while Lord Ramachandra was out of his kingdom due to his 14 years banishment. by the order of his father. His younger step-brother Bharat took charge of the kingdom, and the day on which Lord Ramachandra took back the charge again from his brother and seated on the throne. This is observed as Diwali or Deepavali. Diwali means the same thing. Deepa means candles and Bali means numerous. When numerous candles are lighted, it is called Deepavali. In India, this Deepavali function is celebrated in a special auspicious occasion. This Deepavali function can be observed on 21st October and prasad can be distributed on 22nd October during daytime, which is known as Govardhan Puja and Annakut ceremony. In India, in all Vaishnava temples, this ceremony is observed and hundreds of people are given prasadam according to the capacity of the temple. So I understand that last year the Diwali ceremony was held in the temple and there was collection of $130. So you can do the needful. Hope you are all well. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So, but there's also a lot of significance here that our Krishna consciousness movement is meant to bring light to this world. Ignorance is considered like darkness, and knowledge is actually brightness. Where the sun is there is no room for darkness. Wherever the sun can fall, the sunlights can fall, there's only illumination. There's only darkness if there's something which is blocking the sunlight. So ignorance is that which blocks the light. We voluntarily often put ourselves in ignorance. In fact, practically all times, the darkness in our lives is caused by our own volition. It's not like God has put us in darkness. Because of our desires separate than Krishna, because of our own selfish and nefarious desires, there's darkness in our life. The moment we turn towards Krishna, your life becomes illuminated with transcendental knowledge. Even if you are in a physically dark place, that darkness cannot affect the illumination in your heart. So like that, sometimes children are very afraid of entering a dark place, even adults, right? I've seen many times when it's dark, people don't want to go inside. Why? Because there's no light, you can't see things. So naturally, when there's darkness in your heart, naturally fear arises. So therefore, the place where there's no fear is called Vaikuntha, is fully illuminated, not only by the brilliance of the spiritual world, but the brilliance in your heart. So therefore, we should aspire that our heart becomes brilliant like the sun. It drives away all the darkness which is caused by all kind of nonsense in our heart. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya had this pastime of Gundicha Marjanam, where he cleaned the temple again and again and again and again and again, until the temple looked very brilliant. Even the stone, the pillar walls looks very brilliant. So Lord Chaitanya is saying that we should clean our heart again and again and again until the point where our heart becomes a very suitable place for Krishna to come and reside. And that can only happen when we fully embrace this path of bhakti, when we voluntarily give up. Because if you forcefully are meant to give up, you will not give up. Ultimately, it has to come voluntarily, that I don't want to have anything to do with all this nonsense. Let me give it up. And you work with such great determination, then you'll find that your heart becomes a suitable place for Krishna, and Radha and Krishna. All right, we'll stop here. Any questions, any comments? So this evening we have a wonderful festival. You can see we have already set up our lamps there. All the lamps will be fully lit. It will be a very beautiful sight, and we'll also be offering Damodar Arati. I don't know if you'll be offering at 7 or 9. Probably it's going to be at 9 o'clock. So because if everybody is blocking the view, we can't really see the beautiful Arati. So we'll stop here today. Any questions, any comments from the assembled Vaishnavas? Oh, today, 6 o'clock, Sunday school kids are going to be Damodarashtakam. Very nice. So, the children, also another thing, just like I was saying, when I was growing up, I mean, even Radha Krishna Prabhu is from Singapore. We are trained from the very young time how to observe festivals. So, sometimes nowadays, even even in Indian families, it's just they've left India, they come here, they don't know how to observe these festivals, the parents of these children, and the children don't see the kids, the parents observing the festivals, they don't know the significance of these festivals, so eventually this message gets lost. So, as parents, those who have children, we have to educate our children why these festivals are observed, what is the significance of these festivals, what is the meaning behind these festivals. So the children, these lessons get imbibed in them. So when they grow up to have their families, they can impart these lessons to their children. That's how the tradition continues. If we don't practice, the children are not going to practice. Like I had last weekend, not this weekend, the weekend before, I had gone for a memorial service in somebody's home. The husband passed away of this woman, it was done at the kids' home. They were clueless. What are all the things need to be done when somebody departs? So of course we took the opportunity to speak about the temporary nature of the body, the eternal nature of the soul. And even though these children, they were grown up and doctors, because the lady who lost her husband was there was the mother of these children, and so they didn't know any of these. And they were very appreciative that this had such deep significance. So it's our business to educate people. Prabhupada created Iskcon for the association and also to disseminate this transcendental message to everybody so people can be lifted up from this dark ignorance. I mean, just look at the ignorance in this world now. Unparalleled ignorance. I've never seen such ignorance in my life, my entire life. I've never seen such ignorance from political leaders to so-called church leaders, to highly respected people in society. I've never seen such ignorance. So therefore people are in such a fearful state. When there's ignorance, naturally there'll be fear. There's talk of civil war in America every day. Now, there's going to be civil war. Everything they sing, people are looking at all the signs there's going to be civil war. The FBI tracks what is going on in the internet. They say everything is pointing to a civil war. Because people are driven so much by ignorance. People have become so selfish. They don't care about the people under their charge. Corporations, they are only interested in making profit. We'll do profit by hook or crook. We'll sell our technology to inimical countries who will turn around and attack us. So this is a very crazy state of affairs. The only thing which can save you, save us, save the world is this message, the light of the Bhagavata, the light of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the holy name. That's the only thing can save us. The association of devotees. So we should make an attempt in our best possible way, in our own circle of influence, to transmit this knowledge and bring about auspiciousness and real good to this world. All right, if there's no other questions, yes, Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu. You covered deeply wide range of things, significance of the festival. I was thinking in the modern context, Lord Ram has fought a battle, won, and coming back home. It's such a joyous occasion. I was in Idaho for quite some time, almost 2 decades, and we used to go to receive sannyasis coming to the airport, and I could see sometimes, the military, there was a big military base over there, the families would come and rejoice. I was thinking of that. And the second one is also the Mormons, a lot of Mormons in the West, they would go for a 2-year preaching mission, all the kids. And when they come back, there's such a joy. And these 2 events, one is Lord Ram, Dharma Yuddha, and the second one is preaching. And it is so happy occasion. Like you're saying, Lord Ram is coming home, we light up and everything. The Kshatriya spirit is dying.
Yes.
And the preaching spirit, I'm glad we have all these Krishna house, who are holding up the fort and doing the work on our behalf. So, thank you. This is such a nice thing that everybody is doing. So these are the 2 things I was thinking when you're describing. And I believe in Singapore it's mandatory, right? Serving in military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Singapore, I was in the military for 2.5 years. So, Kshatriyas are needed. Kshatriyas are needed, but Kshatriyas who are properly educated are needed. Because you can also cause a lot of harm with power. Between somebody who's very powerful and causing harm, who would you choose? Somebody who's not powerful or somebody who's powerful and choosing harm? I'd rather choose somebody who's not powerful as a leader, but somebody who's powerful and causing harm. But most of these leaders now are powerful and causing harm. And of course, we have faith that Lord Chaitanya's movement will go on. And we have to therefore, in our own life, in some capacity, within our capacity, we have to educate people. We have to constantly be engaged, thinking how I can save people from their ignorance. All right? So, because we have been given this light, we have to transmit that light. All right? So, we'll stop here. Thank you all so much.